Hello classmates, I hope everyone's having a fabulous day wherever you are in the world because I am pumped and honored to be your instructor for this next few upcoming weeks. Let me properly introduce myself. My name is David Suh and I'm a portrait photographer and a content creator currently based in Sacramento. I'm filming this in my photography studio where I do most of my client work and film most of my content. As a portrait photographer, I specialize in photographing the everyday women and showing them their most beautiful self. And I do this by creating a space where they can feel comfortable and confident. As for being a content creator, I translate what I do as a photographer and focus on helping the everyday people be more badass in front of the camera and on the everyday. Something I heavily believe in is context when it comes to education. For example, a doctor and a friend can give you the same medical advice, but you're more likely going to listen to the doctor because of context. So I want to spend this first video telling everyone here about my background and my context because one, I want you to know I once was a beginner learning how to use a camera for the first time, and for two, I want you to know that everyone in this class is more than capable of achieving anything in this class. Good old David started photography back in sophomore year of high school. One of my passion was dance at that time. I really wanted to video my dance for YouTube, and trust me, you won't be able to find my old videos. I remember pretty much having to make a whole PowerPoint to convince my Korean dad to upgrade our old family camera to something newer with video capabilities. Well, your boy got it done. Pretty much that family camera went everywhere with me. I became that kid with the camera at school. I was photographing sports events, yearbook team photos, friends, and you name it. I honestly learned everything from YouTube. I soaked everything up like a sponge. I was also doing a lot of street photography as I was in Seoul, and there were these beautiful cityscapes and they were stunning. However, something that really intrigued me was why it would seem so hard to photograph people, and even more challenging was capturing a photograph of someone that the person in the photo liked of themselves, especially girls. It would happen all the time where I would photograph a girlfriend and post it on Facebook albums, and in less than a minute, I would get a message from them asking for me to untag them or even delete them of that photo. You know, my 17-year-old self just couldn't understand why they didn't like the photo. The composition was immaculate. The lighting was divine. The technique was the coolest and latest thing I learned on YouTube, but they would tell me they looked unflattering. The big one that really got me thinking was my thick, skinny sister telling me she looked fat in her photo. And it was definitely a what in the world moment, sister? And that is when I had the big aha moment. I realized at that moment that I simply couldn't just tell my sister she didn't look fat, no matter how many times I told her that it wouldn't change the way she felt about herself in her photo. And I realized that's what I was doing with my friends as well though. I would tell them, no, you look great here, thinking it would change the way they felt about that photo. And I couldn't be more wrong. I realized that there was this whole world beyond me and the camera, and there was the subject and the camera, me and the subject, us and the environment around us that I was completely not even thinking about. And what does it really mean? It means I wasn't considering how clothing affected my model's body shape, how posing is just memorized poses to copy and paste onto everyone, the harsh beauty standards for women, especially in Korea, and the emotional experiences that my models go through. And none of that I was considering. With this realization also came a fascination towards the challenge of photographing people versus inanimate still objects in photography. I wanted to be able to make others feel good by taking a beautiful photo of them. So this embarked me on a journey to not only learn about camera techniques, but seek education and mentors that taught beyond the technicalities of photography. And this is where I got to learn how to communicate with my models and pose them to create portraits that they love. And now this has easily become one of my favorite things to do for someone, help them physically see how beautiful they are. And again, I'm so excited to be able to teach an introductory photography class that isn't just about technicalities. Portrait photography, especially when it comes to photographing the everyday people like your friends, your partner, and your family, that has so much more elements beyond the camera techniques. I learned this way later in my photography journey, so I'm pumped to see how far everyone here gets at the end of the whole curriculum. And with that being said, enough about me. Let's jump straight into our next segment where I'll introduce the course and what you can expect to learn by the end of the whole curriculum.